somehow Walter Reuther and Bobby Kennedy had gotten a hold of the rough copy of this speech. And there were elements of this speech they were very concerned about. Basically, John Lewis was saying that this potential Kennedy civil rights bill was too little, too late. And he used a word in his speech that basically, we are now in the midst of a serious revolution. I mean, this was a quote of his. And immediately, I think Walter and Bobby Kennedy were concerned that this was going to be an inflammatory speech, and they had sort of mentioned the potential of this to a couple of the Catholic leaders that were going to speak on that day, and they were immediately saying they, would potentially, renounce that and walk out and drop out. So there was, a sort of immediate backlash of, we have to do something about this. And Walter, being the negotiator that he was, went right up and spent basically that whole night before the march. I mean, off and on negotiating with John Lewis and SNCC, saying, you guys have to sort of temper this a bit. You will crush this coalition that we've built. We have to have everybody up there. You can't deliver a speech like this, back and forth all night. And as far as I've heard, it wasn't really resolved until, as they were lining up there at the memorial, not long before both men were supposed to get on and speak. And Walter made a sort of presentation to the limited group that was there. I don't know if Dr. King was in that area as well, but he said, I have to put my foot down. You can deliver this speech elsewhere, but you cannot do it today. And you have to do some kind of revision. So eventually SNCC did go back to the drawing board. They had tweaked some things a little bit, and John Lewis delivered his speech. And interestingly enough, Walter Reuther went right after John Lewis, and he set it up specifically because he was concerned just in case he'd have to pick up the pieces after some kind of a speech like that. So it's an interesting sort of aside to that, having a negotiator there sort of settle things when it might get a little bit out of hand.